Okay, so today we're just going over the equation of a circle. How many of you have seen this equation before? One or two people? I don't think it's been around very much for you guys. But if you look at it, if the center is HK, so that's just an XY point, if we label this instead like X1, Y1, like you see in a lot, is that pretty similar to your distance formula or Pythagorean theorem? It's pretty much the same thing. So all we have to remember is those are minus signs in there, just like in your distance formula. And so it's x minus whatever your x value is, and then squared, y minus whatever your y value is squared, and then the radius squared. So our first step is to write it from the graph. What is our center of graph 1? 0, 0. So we could just write it out, x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals, what's our radius? So it's 4 boxes, and then are we counting in 4s, or are we counting, yeah, 8, because we're counting by 2s here. So then equals 8 squared, and the simplified form of that is just x squared plus y squared equals 64. So the shortcut is, anytime your center is at 0, 0, or at the origin, it's just going to be x squared, y squared, and then the radius squared. All right, where's our center of circle 2? 2, 2, right? So I'm going to write x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared. What is our radius here? You can count it out. Yeah, 4, right? This is 4 boxes again. This time we are counting by 1 because 2 boxes is 2, 4 boxes is 4. So what is 4 squared? 16. That's our answer. See how easy this is? Do you think it gets harder?
No.
It actually doesn't really this time. I mean, our last problem might be a little harder, but most of it's the same. If our center's at 0, remember it's just x squared. If our center's at the origin, who knows what 1/3 squared is? 1/9. 1 squared is just 1. 3 squared is 9. That's our answer. All right, then when we have negatives, what is x minus negative 3 simplify to? So I usually write these out as minus negative, just to make sure I'm not dropping something, and then come back and connect them into a plus sign. But if you just write them out as plus, if your brain works that way, then do it that way. Radius is 8, so what is my last number? 64. 8 squared. All right, are the next two exactly the same, or did something change a little bit? Yeah, so it didn't give us the radius, so we have to find the radius, right? So to find the radius, if this is the center and this is a point, is the radius the same as the distance between those 2 points? Yeah. So radius is distance between point and center. And so we can either, this one's pretty easy, we could graph it out, just draw a little graph and say, okay, well, 1 point's at the center, and I know I'm going 4 this way, and then 3 down. And then I do my Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, or that's one of your triples you learned, it's 5. And so radius equals 5. Or I could plug it into my distance formula if I wanted to and do 0 minus 4 squared plus 0 minus negative 3 squared. And I still get 4 squared plus 3 squared and still get 5. And so then if my center is at 0, 0 and my radius is 5, what's my equation? Yeah. X squared plus y squared equals 25. See how easy this is? This is why we left this for the end of the unit, because it doesn't need lots of practice before tests, because it's just easy. Alright, our center is 4, 5. What do you think? We don't have a graph here. You think distance formula or trying to draw it out and do Pythagorean theorem is going to be easier? The distance formula is going to be easier, right? So 4 minus 0 squared plus 5 minus 8 squared gives us 4 squared plus negative 3 squared. What's our answer? 5. Yep. Aren't you glad they give us these nice, easy whole number answers? We don't have to simplify radicals. And so then, what's the equation of a circle? What's my equation of the circle now? That's my radius.
Minus 4 squared.
And then
y minus 5 squared.
y minus 5 squared equals our 25. So when you have that, flip to the last page of our packet. 3 last problems. Alright, so now they gave us the equation, we have to graph it. If it's just x squared, y squared, where is my center? If it's x squared, y squared, my center is, 0, 0. What is my radius? It told me to find the center and the radius. So my radius equals 15. Because, square root of 225. And so we're not going to, you don't have to be super precise about this, but what you want to do when you're graphing is mark the 15 in each of the 4 directions that you can mark exactly 15. And then just do your best doing the curved line in between them to make them a circle. Okay, doesn't have to be exact, but don't give me straight lines and corners. Make sure you're curving around so you don't have corners. And problem 8, what is the center? And negative 2, right? So we change the signs. What is the radius? Because the formula is minus, and so you always have to change the sign of what's there because the formula is minus. That was a really good question of how we know it's negative 2. And radius is 4, square root of 16. Alright, you guys, go ahead and graph it on yours. 3 and negative 2. Then count out 4 in each direction. And then draw a circle. Is it easier to draw the little circle or the big circles? The little circle is a lot easier for me too. It shouldn't look like a square. Okay, are you guys ready for the last one? A square curves, yeah. Okay, last one. You guys are still drawing circles. Ready for the last one? Alright, the point negative 1, 2 lies on a circle centered at negative 4, negative 1 with a radius of 3 root 2. And we are asked to prove or disprove the statement. So if the statement is true, what else would be true? Yeah. So if it's true, distance between the points will equal a radius. So we just have to find the distance between the points and see if it equals 3 root 2. So first of all, let's go ahead and graph the points. So negative 1 and 2. and -4, -1. So since we have a graph, we can either do Pythagorean theorem or we can do distance formula. Since this is notes, we're going to do both. So -1 minus -4 squared plus 2 minus -1 squared. What does this simplify to? So 3 squared plus 3 squared, which equals 18. Square root of 18, does that simplify to 3 root 2? Yeah, 2 and 9, 9's that perfect square, so it equals 3 root 2. If we chose to do Pythagorean theorem, we would just count 1, 2, 3 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on this side, and same thing, 3 squared plus 3 squared equals square root of 18, which equals 3 root 2. Alright, and we're done.